done, look at the
Yes, Vice President Balarabe. Yes. I have, look, let me introduce my immediate past president, Engineer Cheif Ajibola. Yes. EXCO member, Mustafa. EXCO member, Yes. EXCO member, Abbas. EXCO member, FNSE honor. Yes. EXCO member is our Ibrahim, and of course our executive secretary. We have our legal officer. Thank you very much.
We're honored to have the.
Thank you very much.
The equivalent of the Chairman here with us today. It's a privilege that we will take you around what we have here, and also one or two places outside the premises. Can I call it? We have two sections here. The engineering. So introduce the staff. Okay, this is Florence. What's electrical, okay. Bukola is a computer scientist. Lala, mechanical engineer. And sorry, what's your major? Electrical. Okay, that's great. And that's great. Balarabe, it's a member too. Balarabe was a electrical engineer.
This is engineer's home.
Oh, yes. We monitor all the monitor them remotely and also carry out some control functions. The equipment that is the last two computers is called the control system of all the equipment. So check their status from this place. We have several antennas outside there. The one for the T&C, the one for the, for controlling the satellite, monitoring and controlling the satellite. It's looking at the satellite 24/7 for all the information you can see in the government. I've also used some of this information to perform periodic operations that we do on the station to make sure that the satellite is kept within its orbit so that it is pointing to the desired place and gives some maximum signal strength. We do what is called north-south and east-west station from this place. The satellite in the orbit is being disturbed by some aggregation forces, so it can make it to create under ideal conditions which you cannot have. The satellite is not meant to be. It's meant to remain static, but drift into some aggregation forces. And it can make it to drift northward, eastward, northward, and southward. That's why we do what is called north-south station and east-west station. And what we do here is just to receive information, what we call traffic information. Tells us about the position of the satellite, distance from the ground station, and all of that. Information. And space cost and so we use that to carry out controlled animation. Where if the satellite is select, where we take it to all. So we'll be able to declare when the satellite is going to violate the deadline. Now we have a deadline where we can stay. Orbital location is 42.5 degrees, and it cannot go beyond plus or minus 0.05 degrees, whether northward, southward, or eastward. So we have to maintain the satellite in that range. So we do this orbit prediction to know when the satellite is going to violate its orbital position. Then we bring it back to the equipment.
How many satellites do you maintain?
Now, one satellite. The 2 and 3 is
want to be for the president But it's one of the...
What is the one commission in China 2 years ago? NigComSat X.
That's under the Russia. The Russia. It's under NASDAQ. That was head of aviation.
Okay.
It's head of aviation software.
Not for commercial communication.
This is communication.
Purely for communication.
They are operating from about 750 kilometers above the sea level, while we are operating at 35,570.
That's 5,000.
In the clock office. Where is 5,570 kilometers?
Show me the
750.
yeah, satellite
lower.
Another. Why don't you use another one?
We are in Nigeria. We are first. Because hitherto there is no black nation, sub-Saharan Africa, that has capacity to control satellite in the geometer. This is because no single African nation in the first place has a satellite, except Nigeria. In the whole of Africa, Nigeria is the only country that singularly has her own satellite. The Arab South that we hear is a Pan-Arabian satellite. The Nile South that we hear is Pan-Arabian satellite. And the Arab South is controlled by the French. The control is from the
EXCO.
Yes.
That is Consortium of Africa is controlled
from Paris. So this is the first indigenous effort, where you will see a set of black people, that controls satellite. There's an article in the New York Times of 3rd of January, where Obama just signed into law permission by Boeing and Lockheed Martin to export communication satellite to other countries. Before it was restricted because they consider satellite as a weapon. So it's in New York Times. If you Google it, Obama just signed it this year that American satellite manufacturers can actually now export communication satellite in particular to other.
You've seen it recently.
They've signed it into law. Someone has signed it into law just in this 2013. And this is why we are saying that this is a strategic knowledge transfer, because one of the major objectives of the project was for us to have a technological knowledge transfer. And in the area of guidance and control, in the area of station keeping, 3 years ago, the United States directed Indonesia not to train us in this area. Because the first satellite that we launched, the control was from China. And you know, sir, that technology, you have to learn it. You have to go through the learning mechanism. The tacit knowledge, the coded knowledge, or the secret, is always held by the person that has the intellectual property. Now, the nations that have the technological advantage, they're not going to give you much of what is the secret of what you want to get from them. So you have to devise your own strategy, your own practice to be able to learn whatever you want to learn from them. I'm happy to report that comfortably, like you can see here, there is no colored individual here. These are all Nigerians, some of them even from my village. From my village that, where you mention where I come from to an Ukene person, they will laugh.
Where's Peter? Peter Apogma used to boast that the first will move on to control around 5,000 kilometers away.
The engineer where I come from, when you mentioned before the Brahman, they laugh because they feel that it's a village within a village. So to me, this is a big feat because again, this is a dual technology, and to be able to talk to something that 5,000 kilometers away, we exchange information, and we're able to send. We will receive telemetry, and we send telecommand. And satellite behave the way we ask it to behave.
You can see the frame counting. This shows that it's an activity. Frame counting 16 frames. So, and these informations, you see them display in gray if they are within the design limit. Because we have the database that shows the design limit. So if they are outside the design limit, it goes red. And it gives you an alarm. Yeah, it gives you an alarm. So you now send a command. It could be temperature, it could be pressure. There are several parameters that we are monitoring that tells us about the health status of the satellite. If the temperature of a particular plate that's supposed to be within certain limit, if it goes beyond that, you do something to cool it down. If it goes below, you have to heat it up. We have heater subsystems on the satellite. So the thermal design of the satellite is such that you have to balance it and all. It has autonomous correction as well, but most of the time you do it from the ground.
How many operations, station operations have been carried out to date from launch?
From launch, we have done north-south 12. Eight north-south. 21 east, 22 east, 22 station east.
And for how many years now?
The year on the
19th of
we launched 19th of December.
20 years ago.
So we are a year plus now.
And we have gone through two eclipse periods. This is the time of the period of the year where you have sunlight experiencing two extreme condition of temperature and also absence of sunlight, which provides a common source of power. Because when there's absence of sun, sunlight will be there. Some part of the sunlight will be very cold. So the thermal system of sunlight is designed in such a way that it compensates for that. When it's at the point again that sunlight, the sun is shining directly on the moon, it will be very hot. And again, you have the absence of sun sometimes, and it results to the battery power. So this is the time that you test the design of the satellite. And we have experienced the design. Yeah, the design. So we've experienced two of this period. One is February to March is about 46 days. 46 days, February to March, is the eclipse period of sunlight, and another one is August to October. Okay. So these are
the design perspective. Once you survive these two eclipse periods, it's not like from engineering, design.
So when it's in what we call the Engr is like total shadow. So there's no sun, no source. So it has to
the electrical power system, the solar and the battery and the.
So for how long was the eclipse experienced by the satellite?
46 days. So each eclipse period is 46 days. And this 46 days, you have a total of how many hours? 1 hour.
The maximum hour is 1.2 minutes. I mean, 72 minutes, which is 1.2 hours.
You know, the way it happens, like in a day, you can have a maximum of 72. That's in the Umbra.
Yeah, that is the very day of the equinox.
Yes. When they say the equinox, when the sun is just by at the equinox.
The three of them, you can go in a straight line. They are in plane.
So you have the sun being obscured totally. So you now have a total of 72 hours for that. It happens for the 6 days, but it's just about 72 hours a day. 72 minutes.
Is there any restriction on the footprint of this?
Yeah, the footprints we have is we about 40 African countries, 42, and all the way from Libya down to South Africa we cover. That's the lower part of Libya, because we had to roll up, particularly on the KU. Then on the C-band we covered the most of Central Africa up to Congo, Brazzaville. On the KA, we have a spot being over South Africa, over Nigeria, we have over Europe. We also have a beam over Asia, from China to Afghanistan to some part of Pakistan, India. So we actually have a global footprint. On the L-band is global. And on the L-band, you can use L-band also for communication, if you have the appropriate terminals. And we have a global coverage on the L-band, which means that actually there can be executive communication, say the president and all the ambassadors worldwide, bypassing every telecommunication system in the world. But most of this is where you see it, people don't realize the meaning of this. This is just because we don't really care for competitiveness. Because if we want to be competitive, the most of our strategic decisions, what our leaders says, what they discuss amongst themselves, will be controlled. But now it's not controlled. But people don't care. When you say this, they think I just talking. But the reality is that if we want to be one of the 20 economies of the world by our vision 2020, it means we're going to be number one in Africa. But other African countries are not sleeping. And the reality of what is happening is that our global competitive index, we are actually sliding down. We were number 86 during the Obasanjo's period, but today, as of the result of 2012, we are number 150. It's from 86 to 150. That is a measure of how competitive is Nigeria. You know, in terms of your product, in terms of, and they look at so many things. They look at the intellectual property, they look at the quality of your educational system, they look at your infrastructure, they look at the ease of doing business, they look at your telecommunications infrastructure, the IT literacy, of the individuals, and also the applications in the systems of governance. They look at so many things. They look at the judiciary, they look at the rule of law, they look at the freedom of press. So many indices. I can't remember the number of indices that are measured to come security years. Your national security system, your national judicial system, both primary, secondary infrastructure for industrial activities. They look at all these things. Now, nations are rated, and this is not every year. As at 2006, we were number 86. As of today, we are 150. So the question is, are we improving or are we going down? So the kind of thing we are trying to do here, is actually going to jumpstart our national GDP, because to me, our singular problem is productivity. And I think the engineering community, we should rise up to the challenge, because it's only engineers that produce. every other profession consumes, but we produce. We are the only one that can take. Maybe journalists might they want to disagree, because somebody is laughing there. But yeah, you can produce it your Bible, but somebody has to manufacture that Bible for you.
Manufacture the camera for you.
Even for you to print the inks and all those things, they are all products of engineering. So
who and who would utilize this satellite as such now, and how much money does the country make?
Yes.
Vis-a-vis what it's spending to maintain it.
Yes.
Being the only one in Nigeria, I think we should also stand out in terms of revenue generation and also utilization of the satellite itself.
It's a very good question. When Obasanjo conceived this project, he mentioned during the Federal Electoral Council conclusion that he was advised by two people to go and launch a communication satellite and build his developmental agenda on it. One of the two is Bill Gates. The second person is President Hu Jintao of China. And President Hu Jintao of China told him that in 1976, when China wanted to start to become competitive with the big countries of this world, the first thing they did was to launch a satellite. And with that satellite, they were able to sell the ideas, the agenda of government to the people. Because you cannot develop without the people. You can't. If Nigeria is going to develop today, is to what extent is government able to harness the strength of all of us and add it together productively? But if like the domain magnets, if we are working at cross purposes, then we can never be magnetic. But when we have an alignment, then we can start making some consequential productivity and enhancement of our GDP. So the government utilization was key, and government in terms of the aviation industry, the education industry, and even the structures of government, they are supposed to be the primary users. Then the national security, they're supposed to be primary customers. Like now we're talking of e-commerce, we're talking of then of course the broadcasting industry, the NTAs. So at the moment, these off-takers are not yet linked on the satellite, even 1 year after the launch of satellites. There is need, for instance, for broadband in the universities. In 3 months, we can do that.
So why are they not doing that?
Well, that is the key, because
are you not reaching out?
we are reaching out. We are reaching out, but you see, there are, like, when you look at the telecommunication landscape, they are trying to portray us as a competitor. If perhaps you will have heard of the bill that is going on. People say, oh, we are trying to create a monopoly. Which monopoly? When we are the only one in the whole Africa. It's not just the only one in Nigeria, but we are the only one in Africa. So we're not competing with anybody. And this is an infrastructure. This is not, it's not a company like MTN. No. This is a national infrastructure that is a tool for the economic of today. The OECD defines scale as the tool of the 21st century economy. Skills, and particularly the high technical scale will increase the demand, while the low technical scale will go down.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Those prospective off-takers, what are they using now?
For the satellites. By marketers, by middlemen that are going out there to buy SES American, Intelsat, Eutelsat. The foreign that is taking almost $500 million out of this country annually, they are patronizing them against a Nigerian-owned satellite. And they're even selling this to government.
What are you doing about it?
Well,
or what can we do about it?
Well, what is for the society to bring it to the knowledge of the government that we now have this. The government, Obasanjo did it because he wants our universities, lecturers, teachers, students to have access to the internet. Up to now, sir, students are doing research. They don't have access to internet. All the schools that the big men are sending their children to abroad. One of the things they will find out there is that when they enter their room, is broadband ready. You just plug in your computer. Some rooms even have laptop on the table. So that is the kind of thing that we need to graduate to, and that is what we can do. If there is a directive, for instance, now how the government support, particularly for my ministry, is important is the fact that there is a USPF fund. Now they have misconstrued this USPF fund as if it's something else. USPF is my money and your money. It is money deducted from every 1,000 or 1,500 that we pay to buy airtime. It's a surcharge, which the operators are simply helping us to collect and give to government. To do what? To enhance broadband into unserved, rural areas or unserved urban centers. Now this fund can be used for broadband penetration. This broadband, we already have it. We are partnering with MainOne. We can buy, MainOne has 1.3 terabyte of IP in Lagos. But the universities cannot get it because you need the satellite to take it up and broadcast to everybody. So now, the cost of delivering that, the government can pay herself by just giving us instruction to go and deliver. Every university give 30 Mbps hotspot to every university. In such a way that students can just have their laptop or even their BlackBerry or...
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, within the whole campus. When the teacher lecturer comes and says, what's his geology? He will just say, okay, Google, what is geology? And read it. Tomorrow he'll come back and say, geology is the study of stones or earthworks or whatever. And the teacher will be very happy. And I think that is the difference between a secondary school. You teach, in university you lecture. That's a lot of difference. Lecturing in the sense that you train train the student give them the capacity to be able to exercise, yes. you know,
So do you think it's about legislation or persuasion to government? Which one? What do you think? Because I'm sure Mr. President can push that. Legislation or by moral.
No, I think that I think there is a gap. There is a lot of ignorance on the capacity that we have here. I don't think our leaders, they are not yet aware. Because if they are aware, I mean, there's a presidential committee on broadband, and there is broadband.
And you think it's not point from your side?
No, it's not coming from my side. Because I've made, in fact, I am even conscious of even talking to the press now, because I don't want to be in the press.
No, I have this.
Well, it's not. No, it's not
Well,
because
this is one of the steps anyway.
yes.
I think we can.
Are you in touch with the broadband committee?
We can.
It was just inaugurated about
2 months or 3 years.
2 months. Yeah, we made presentation. But you see, there is a bias, because even some of the members of the committee are fiber providers of fiber optic services.
They are operators.
Yeah, they are operators, and we had a hectic time. Even presenting the capacity of the satellite. So much so that some of them even say that satellite cannot deliver broadband. Yes, so yeah, no. But the issue is, we had one-on-one. We had a lot of altercations with them during the presentations, and the conclusion was, of course, that in any telecommunication solution, you need all the transmission back, to be able to. But the truth is that this is what we have now. If you are going to deliver fiber to homes, FTH, then tell me how you do it to people in Oshodi or in Morocco, in Kari or in. This is not a planned environment, So then, what about the people in the Niger Delta crisscross, or what about the amount that live on top of the hills, So there are a lot of limitations, with fiber. Of course, satellite has, its own weaknesses too, in terms of latency, in terms of throughput, But for every appropriate problem, you design the solution that will deliver. But the truth is that it is only satellite that can deliver everything. Fiber is point to point. Satellite can be point to point and point to multi-point. Yes, sir.
So just like that, a presentation we arranged to Mr. President.
Okay, sir.
A kind of workshop level.
Okay, sir.
Where some of the key
Stakeholders
in engineering in the society, engineers can be brought together.
Yes, sir.
And we can have a full discussion and harness our energies towards helping to, because the infrastructure is the most important thing in ICT.
Yes, sir.
And if we have the infrastructure, we must be able to mobilize it to
People have been crying for this, sir, but unfortunately, now we got it and they forget. We just started the tour now, sir. Maybe by the time, let me just bring one of the applications, for instance, that we can do easily. Now, we can deliver e-learning across the entire nation. And this e-learning will imply that people will go to ABU, where I graduated from.
University of Nigeria.
Well, congratulations. That's why you are managing the press very well. That is also the alma mater of the president. I
thought if a two jumped there, there are 2 SBS.
Yeah.
I spent about just 1 month in it.
You are part of it.
Yes, sir. So it's very easy if we just take one of the premier Nigerian universities and we take the content, the lecture series every day in all the courses. We can put this thing, put it in the server, stream it online, that students can can retrieve from anywhere in the world. Or we can even, if we have a multimedia system within, you can even broadcast to, we will get the ETH headed, and we already have on ground. So, if we are looking at it from the infrastructural point of view, and because if we are going to, where we are going to be better than South Africa and Egypt, it has to be in everything. We have to be number 1 in Africa before we can be number 20 in the world. So we have to overtake, yes, we have to overtake South Africa in quality of our education, in quality of our engineering system, in quality of our judicial system, quality of everything. We have to overtake South Africa, and we have to overtake Egypt. We have to overtake Kenya. We have to overtake Morocco, Tunisia.
Even the other one near Madagascar. The one that is number 1 in Africa. Mauritius.
Mauritius. Exactly. Mauritius is 100%, in terms of connectivity, they are 100%. Yes. What time it is? In fact, that's where they have the internet. I was there some months ago. But all these things are feasible and possible here by us. It's not going to anywhere, because the engineers, another interesting thing that has happened is, this guy, what's your major mechanical being? Mechanical. How long are you here now?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. He served and we retained him. He didn't go to China, but he's one of those that control the satellite now. Same thing with this guy. Oh, what's your major? Physics electronics. He served and we retained him. He controls the satellite now. He was never trained outside. They got the training from those that were trained in China. So, for this transfer, nobody can stop us. Yes. Whether they have any rule so
you control this one, as you say, don't beam this one.
So we'll quickly take you through this then.
But the action is from that place. Once you send the action from that operation computers, on this place it is being transformed into an array. Here the intermediate frequency, here the array. Then from the intermediate frequency we use the automata to convert. Then what matters to us is what matters to you guys and what matters to us. Just know that this is the ground segment of the satellite. Satellite has 2 segments. The space segment instrumentation and the ground segment instrumentation. See, this is the ground segment instrumentation. Once this one cannot see what you have in space, there is catastrophe. Once this one can see, it simply means the ground segment and the space segment, they are aligned. What does this one do? As we want to send command now, it's not like maybe you want to buy a recharge card. What they give to you is not about number that has maybe a worth of naira, maybe 1,000 naira or what have you. What happens is that there is a place where they create the number. It's a randomly generated number. They place it and they now put a silver surface on that. That is how we send the command. On getting there, it has to be modulated, just like placing the silver. But what you see there is just number. But as you load it, if the battery is well charged, what happens? It will tell that 1,000 has entered. That's how we prepare it. We send near this antenna. It goes to the satellite to effect a control. That is the major function of this program. It allows us to see the satellite on the ground.
And the reverse sample.
The reverse sample.
Yeah. Is also processed
exactly.
Before it goes
exactly. 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 Just like Immidiate, it will just come down. Yeah. But you cannot achieve this one because it takes a lot of ignorance. To transport yourself from ignorance just to the light of knowledge is very difficult. No matter how you claim you know, you don't want to have any assumption. There's zero assumption on the field. So you bring the new engineers here, just keep on, you bring them as officer 1, which is purely instrumental. Second officer is training and hands-on. If you're becoming a senior officer, it's purely what? It's purely, not just purely, instrumental now. You can now delegate a bit before you are taken to that level. Whatever you do here, go and perfect it here. But for the old guys, what we use it for? Whatever goes to the satellite has to be right for. You don't assume that I've been saying this thing for the past 20 years. Definitely this one will go. No, it's not welcome. You don't do that. You do that, you are taking risk, and your satellite is not safe. Whatever you're going to send, that not like this page now, is for command. That will be going to the satellite, maybe like in about 4 days. So they have to keep on validating and be looking at how it is behaving. You send it, you look at how it is behaving. Is it the way it's calculated? If it is not the way, what is the offset? What must have responded for the offset, and how do you align them until you get it removed and perfected? Once you have gotten all what is required as defined in the standard to meet the mission of the satellite, you validate that, okay, it is okay. That's for the old guys.
Here, these two systems, there are simulators.
Yes.
This one, if you have software running a satellite simulator, that means it behaves like a satellite. You have the AOCS, the attitude and orbit system, that behaves, creates the attitude and orbit of the satellite. So you have this environment created as if you have a real satellite in the orbit. So you now have this operation considered just like you have there. So you now try to, simulate everything. If you are me, you want to close the switch now, like what he's saying, you send a command from that place and see practically if the switch is going to close on the satellite before you go there to run effectively. Because you might want to close switch A, and probably you are thinking of something else. And you will just go straight to the real system and close switch B. And if that switch B is to heat up the system, you can fry up the satellite. So what we do is not like zero assumption. You run the simulation first. You carry the same script written, take it there and run it to the satellite.
Nigeria has invested a lot of money to come up with this IT infrastructure, but the utilization is extremely low. And I feel having spent such amount of money, it is only wise for the government and every Nigeria and all the companies in this country to make best use of these facilities for the development of this country. Otherwise, we may end up having another Jakarta Steel company where a lot of billions of naira is being spent, and because it is not being utilized, it is it is no more in operation, and so many people are being employed here today, and with the capacity they have, they can employ much more number of graduate engineers, technologists, scientists, administrators, accountants, and all sorts of level of professionals. So my take in this visit is that number one is to say to the management of NigComSat that I'm really impressed with what they have been doing so far, and also to call on the government to look at these issues once again, and also all the private sector, the state governments. Everybody has one thing or to do with NigComSat. They have a lot of services to offer, not only to the government, not only to the state governments, even to the private sector. So this is my call on everybody.
But the society is very known in Nigeria. What will you do making sure that the government will help NigComSat to move from the step?
Yeah, what I will do is, I have been here today, and that is the essence of my coming here today. And President, I do go to so many states, I do go to so many organizations, and I have to inform people. I know quite well one of the reasons, one of the problems we are facing is lack of information. A lot of organizations and the government bodies also are not fully aware of the capabilities of this organization. So if we are able to make them aware of what this organization can offer, definitely I'm sure they will be ready to provide them.
Making recommendations to the government.
Yeah.
How much of those recommendations have been implemented?
Well, so many have been and so many have not been. You see, it's a continuous process. As a professional institution, we have been on this advisory role for the last 54 years. And as of today, I can say there is no government that has not used one recommendation or the other from the Nigerian Society of Engineers. In as much as I have to also acknowledge that there are so many recommendations that are not being implemented. So it's a continuous exercise, it's a continuous process.
So then this made mention of started from Obama, even passing a deal this year in America for use of green exploitation of satellite. Do you think Nigeria needs legislation to maximize this potential?
Well, you see, every country passes legislation to protect its interest. That is basic. basically the work of any government, to protect the interests of the country and to protect the interests of the people. So if any legislation is necessary to protect the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians, then it has become necessary, because the first job of any government is to create opportunities and create job opportunities for people, so that everybody, every working age person has something to do and can do something to earn a living. Once you don't have something to do to earn a living, then you can be rest assured that people will go into doing other things which the society will not be happy with.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.